What if I told you that a single construction project, built nearly 2,000 years ago, protected one of history's greatest empires for 3 centuries, and that the secrets behind its success could teach us something profound about solving impossible problems today? Now, to understand why this matters, let me paint you a picture. You're Emperor Hadrian in the year 122 AD. Your empire stretches from Africa to Britain, but there's one massive problem. The northern tribes of Scotland are driving your armies crazy. For decades, your best generals have tried to conquer them. They've pushed deep into enemy territory, only to face endless guerrilla attacks. Your soldiers are getting picked off by hit-and-run raids. Your supply lines are constantly under threat, and every attempt at total conquest has ended in expensive failure. Sound familiar? Sometimes the harder you push against a problem, the more it pushes back. So here's what Hadrian did that changed everything. Instead of continuing the endless cycle of attack and retreat, he made one brilliant decision. He built a wall, not just any wall, but a 73-mile barrier that stretched from sea to sea across northern England. And here's the genius part. It wasn't just about keeping people out. Now you might be wondering, what made this wall so special? Well, let me break down the 3 key elements that made Hadrian's wall so incredibly effective. Starting with the first principle, Hadrian chose the perfect location. He didn't build his wall randomly. He positioned it along a natural ridge called the Wind Sill, which gave his defenders a massive height advantage. Why this worked is simple psychology and physics. When you control the high ground, you control the battlefield. Your enemies have to fight uphill while you rain down arrows and stones from above. The specific benefit? This single positioning choice meant that a smaller defensive force could hold off much larger attacking armies. Moving to the second element, and this is where it gets really clever. Hadrian built gates every single mile, 80 gates total. Now you might think, wait, gates make a wall weaker, right? Wrong. Here's why this was brilliant. Those gates allowed the Romans to control all movement while profiting from it. They could tax traders, gather intelligence on tribal movements, and even use diplomatic access as a reward for friendly tribes. The result? The wall became a money-making machine that paid for its own operation while dividing enemy alliances. But there's a third element that really sealed the deal. Hadrian didn't just build a wall, he built an entire system. Behind the wall, he constructed a massive earthwork called the Vallum, which created a secure military zone. He added forts every 7 miles, each housing up to 1,000 soldiers from across the empire. Why this worked comes down to redundancy and diversity. If one section was attacked, reinforcements could arrive quickly from multiple directions. And by using soldiers from different provinces, he created a multicultural garrison that brought varied skills and prevented local conspiracies. The specific outcome? This created an unbreakable chain of defense that could respond to threats from any direction. At this point, I know what you're thinking. A wall? Really? That seems so primitive. And honestly, I was skeptical too when I first learned about this. Walls can be climbed, tunneled under, or simply gone around. But here's what changed my mind. Recent archaeological evidence shows that Hadrian's wall wasn't just a physical barrier, it was a psychological one. The wall was plastered and whitewashed, so it gleamed like a beacon across the landscape. Imagine being a tribal warrior, looking south at this massive, gleaming monument to Roman power. The message was crystal clear. You are not dealing with ordinary people. And when we look at the evidence, the results speak for themselves. After the wall was completed, major tribal raids essentially stopped. For nearly 300 years, this frontier remained stable. Compare that to other Roman borders, which required constant military campaigns and massive troop deployments. The wall achieved with engineering what decades of warfare could not accomplish. Archaeological evidence from sites like Vindolanda shows that life along the wall became so peaceful that soldiers were writing birthday party invitations, complaining about bad weather, and running successful businesses with the local population. So, with all this in mind, here's my challenge for you. For the next 30 days, when you face a problem that seems to require brute force, ask yourself, what would Hadrian do? Instead of attacking the problem head-on, look for the strategic high ground. Instead of trying to eliminate opposition, find ways to control and profit from it. Instead of working alone, build a support system that makes failure nearly impossible. Because here's the truth that Hadrian understood, and that we often forget. The biggest victories don't come from the strongest attacks. They come from the smartest positioning. Sometimes, the best way to win is to stop fighting and start building.